Marcus Weldon, how has Alcatel-Lucent's approach and strategy changed this past year as a result of the company's new leadership?
Yeah, it's given us more focus, I think. We were a little broader before the change of management, but that's a good thing because in fact it was time to shed some pieces that had essentially become not core to our portfolio or even legacy. The combination of those things we've shed. We've refocused the R&D that were working on those things on the new, and that's been the change in focus. So it's given rise to a bit of a new strategy we have, a clearer vision of the future, and that transition has helped us become a more efficient, successful company.
Have you been surprised by the rate of adoption and acceptance of NFV, network functions virtualization, by mobile operators?
I think we'd all come to realize that networks are far too static, box-based, high performance but static, couldn't be reconfigured. And if you think about the web world is constantly reconfiguring, adapting itself, scaling up and down with new applications, and the network wasn't matching. So as NFV was created, we actually created it was called vTelco, but then it became NFV as an industry standard. That really is about allowing the network to virtualize some of the functions so that they can have the same properties as web applications, scaling up and down, being distributed, etc., which makes the network much more adaptive, scalable, faster to deploy, and responds to the user's needs. So it's taken off because it was its time.
What does NFV offer telcos and ultimately end users?
The end user will benefit because now the network can almost be personalized. You can take the network capacity and make it look as if it's dedicated to that user. And each user will feel like the network is created for them. So we think it's the beginning of the user-aware network, rather than a network that every user attaches to, but is the same for all users. This is a network that's personalized, optimized for you, and virtualization is a critical part of that.
NFV enables mobile operators to look at a wider range of vendors than before. With so many companies vying for contracts in this space, how does AlcatelLucent remain as one of the leading network vendors?
By being better. It's that simple really, right? So you're no longer locking people into boxes that have software and hardware uniqueness. You're now actually relying on both your hardware superiority and your software superiority. And decoupling those gives you actually two chances to show your value. In some ways, the limit was when you sell one box, you're not distinguishing between hardware and software. Breaking it apart gives you the opportunity, if you think you're leading in both domains, to actually expose the value of both domains. So we think it's an opportunity. But you're right, others will perhaps see it as a risk. We see it as an opportunity.
What are the steps that telcos need to take to remain competitive in this fast-changing market?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the problem again is they are static operations based on a static network. By making the network more dynamic and scalable, they have the opportunity to sell that to new people in new ways. So think of being able to sell capacity for machine management, or sell capacity for medical device tracking, or for asset tracking, or for fleet tracking, or services that would manage your entertainment and upgrade of the software in your car. So, as you get a higher capacity, more adaptive network, you can actually repackage that in different ways and sell new value. So there really is a new business opportunity there. Got to tap into it, got to make it happen, but that's the beginning of that new reality.
Now, you're very proud of the work that is done at Bell Labs. Can you give us any idea of the technology and innovation that we'll soon see coming out of research and into commercialization?
We work on things on a longer timescale in Bell Labs, but you're right, every year we deliver things into the business line that will be innovations in the industry. The goal of Bell Labs, as I set it up, is to solve grand challenges in the industry. But as we do that, deliver value on a yearly basis that differentiates the product. So some of the things coming up, you're going to see higher frequency spectrum. You're going to see up at 60 gigahertz will be something that in the next couple of years becomes an important topic in 5G. You're going to see the coordination of that spectrum and Wi-Fi and 3G and LTE all managed by an intelligent control plane. You're going to see distribution of the cells closer to the end user. You're going to see distribution of access nodes closer to the end user, and that's going to have remarkably high bandwidth on copper or on the air interface, and we're working on all of that. And then the SDN, software-defined network aspect, which allows all that to be controlled from the virtualized functions to the access edge, all seamlessly managed, and essentially creating the reality of the personalized network. that's what Bell Labs is working on. And in longer term, we're working on things that if I told you about, of course I would have to kill you.